Let me tell you, we're coming into 2021 strong. Gotta have your wine on hand. You feel me? No, I'm just kidding. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am recreating the look for my best of beauty favorites. This right here is the look that I've been wearing every single day. Towards the very end of last year, I really flipped the switch and I realized what makeup techniques work best for my eye shape. And this is a look that I've been wearing over and over and over again. So today I'm bringing to you my everyday makeup routine for 2021 using my best of beauty favorites. I am so excited to jump into today's video. I love the way that this look turned out, and I think you guys are really gonna love the tips and tricks I share with you within today's video. So make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't already, like this video, and turn on those post notifications so that way YouTube will notify you when I upload, which is every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, grab your matcha tea, water, whatever you drink. Today, we are drinking wine, okay? We're filling ourselves. 2021, we're coming with that heat. So let's actually zoom in and let's get started with the look. So today I'm priming my eyelids with a little bit of my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. You guys know this is very unlike me. Usually I use an eyeshadow primer that's formulated for eyeshadow application, but I can't find my P. Louise base anywhere, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of this all over my lid to prep for eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, I'm going to take this palette right here by Too Faced. This is the Natural Nudes eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to mix seashell and a little bit of nude together, and I'm going to take that into my crease to act as my transitional shade. So the thing about this look is that it's really meant to be very soft and blown out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a little bit of maple and cocoa, mix them together. I like to do a cross mix between the two. And then I'm just going to slowly start to build out this outer V here. I'm just gonna buff and blend. Just go in big circular motions. Another thing, because I am working with mattes, I really want to make sure they blend very seamlessly. And as you can see, this palette has no problem blending very, very seamlessly. It's almost like butter, like there's no patchiness whatsoever. So I'm just gonna continue blending. I feel like this look is only gonna look as good as the time you take to blend it. So that's all I'm gonna do for eyeshadow right now. I'm now gonna switch over to using a MAC Eye Kohl. This is in the shade Costa Riche. Let me tell you, oldie but a goodie. It gives you enough playtime to really buff and blend it out, but when it sets and it does not go anywhere. I usually use a black eyeliner to do this step, but all of my black eyeliners are not sharpened, and I don't have one next to me, so I'm gonna take a little bit. Ooh, I dropped it. I fucking dropped it. What I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take it closest to the lash line and I'm gonna draw a faux liner, but I'm gonna stop right here in the center. And this is a little tip. I'm not gonna take my eyeliner all the way into the very inner corner. I'm only going to put my liner right here in the outer V, just like that. So now that I have that line right there, I'm gonna take a clean angled brush and I'm just gonna go over that liner. I'm just going to smooth it out and really just buff and blend. I'm also going to create the tail for my liner. So I'm gonna drag it outwards like that, and then I'm gonna bring it in. And you wanna work pretty quickly because like I said, it gives you enough playtime to really buff and blend it out, but once it's set, it's not going anywhere. Once I have that brown liner there, I'm gonna take an even smaller brush and I'm really just going to buff and blend out this line. I don't want it to be too stark and harsh, so I'm taking my time to really just buff and blend. So now that I have that liner smoked out, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start deepening it up. And the reason I'm doing this is simply because usually I'll use black. So I definitely want the brown to be a little more chocolatey. So I'm gonna take the shade called Truffle from the, what is this? The Natural Nudes palette by Too Faced. And I'm just going to take a pointed brush and I'm really just going to start buffing and blowing this out. I want this to be very, very smoky. So I'm gonna take my time with this step and really just drag it out following that liner that we put there before. So the next step I'm going to take is I'm going to go in with my Soft Glam 2 eyeshadow palette. This is where this palette comes into play. I am going to take that same angle brush that I was using, take a little bit of the black called Noir, and I'm going to press this closest to my lash line. I'm not going to take this up too high because I don't want my liner to be like stark black. I want it to be darkest closest to my lash line, and then I want it to gradate up into that brown. So I'm just going to take my time, really press this closest to the lash line to get more of a smokier effect. Then with the small tapered blending brush, I'm just going to diffuse this and drag it out a little bit right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with a little bit of my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer on a smaller brush, and I'm just going to tap some of that concealer right here. I don't want this eyeliner to cover up my lid area, so I'm just going to try to conceal it with a little bit of concealer. So again, I'm just tapping it directly over top of that liner. Now, one thing I'm really careful whenever I'm doing my makeup now is to make sure I'm not taking that liner all over my lid space, because before I felt like my liner would cover up all of my eye makeup, and that's not what I want anymore. So that's why I'm going in with that concealer. If you're cautious, you won't have to do that step, but for me, I kind of have to. I'm now going to take that angled brush and I'm going to line this area of my eye, but it's super skinny. It's not going to be as thick. Now I'm going to take this shade right here from the Soft Glam 2 palette. It's called Tempura, and I'm going to pack this onto the very inner part of my lid to really brighten things up. I love that this is kind of like a matte, but it has a slight shimmer to it. It's definitely a vibe. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm really going to clean up this wing right here. I do like more of a smoky wing, but sometimes I like it to be super defined right here and then just smoky on top. So I'm going to take a little bit more of my NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I should have definitely included this in my best of 2020 favorites. Obviously slipped my mind, but I'm just going to take a sharp brush and clean up that wing like that. You can definitely use a makeup wipe for this step. I just like to use concealer. Definitely use whatever you're into. The next step is lashes. Now, I'm not even gonna fake the funk. I've been super picky when it comes to the lash style I'm putting on my eyes. I've only ever been reaching for a lash like this as of recently. As you can see, it's super short in the inner corner and then it flares out towards the end. I'm not entirely sure of the exact style of this one, but the one I've been wearing a lot is the Jamie 3 Lashes by Tati Lashes. I do customize them, so I trim them in the front and then I also trim them at the end. So I'm gonna go in with my lash glue. I've also been doing my lashes a little bit different just so that way they stay down and in place. I've been taking the lash glue and I've been using it as liner. I'm going to take this all over my lash line. I've also been taking a little bit of the lash glue and coating the lash band. When I coat my lash line and the lash band and then I pop on the lashes, it makes it so easy for the lashes to go on. They stay in place and they do not lift at all throughout the day. So definitely try it out and thank me later. Now, another thing I want you guys to pay attention to whenever it comes to these lashes is that they don't cover up too much of my eyelid in here. Before, I would use lashes that were very, very thick and they covered up all of my eyeshadow. So they're super, super short right in this area and then they flare out towards the ends, but they also don't go all the way to my very inner corner because I didn't find that to be flattering either on me personally, but I'm literally obsessed. I am going to wait for the lash glue to dry down completely before I go in with my mascara to blend my lashes in with the falsies. So let's zoom out really quick and let's start working on the rest of the face while we wait for that to dry. Now, you guys know usually I'll go in with a little bit of face primer before my foundation, but the time right now, it is 7:12 at night and odds are I'm not gonna wear this very long. I'm gonna film this video, take some pics for the gram, and then take it right off. So I'm gonna skip using my Hard Candy Sheer Envy face primer just because I don't wanna waste it. This is a spot on dupe for the Milk Hydro Grit face primer. If you didn't know, now you know. I am gonna go in with foundation though. I'm gonna take the Born This Way Undetectable Medium to Full Coverage Foundation by Too Faced. I'm gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand. The shade I'm using right now is Natural Beige, which I'm not gonna lie, is a little dark for me, but it's all right. We'll make it work with concealer. Do you see just how much that covered up all of my blemishes? It's so crazy. By the way, I really just can't get my skin under control. I do have a dermatologist appointment tomorrow. I'm trying to get on Accutane. My little sister has acne-prone skin just like myself, and she went to this dermatologist and they were able to put her on Accutane. So I'm really hoping I can get approved for Accutane tomorrow because I feel like I've been battling acne for the past 10 years. It comes and goes, it gets worse. At this point, it's like on my chin area, but it's also spreading to my cheeks, which I'm just so over at this point. If you guys have acne, have struggled with acne, then you guys already know what's up. It's just so defeating in a sense because every day when you wake up, you have a new pimple. Like for me, I woke up the other night and I had like 4 new pimples on my face the next morning, and I'm just like, how? Why? You know? But I'm praying 2020 is the year we get rid of my acne completely. I'm also going to make sure I blend my foundation down my neck because clearly it's like one shade too dark for me personally, so I want to make sure it truly is undetectable. Let's move on to concealer. I will be using the e.l.f. Camo Concealer's original version and also the hydrating version. I'm going to take the original and I'm just going to take it directly underneath my eyes. This is going to brighten. I'm also going to try to lighten up my foundation just a little bit. I'm going to take some down my nose, Cupid's bow, and a little bit on my chin. Then I'm going to take the hydrating formula just to sheer it out a little bit and add a little bit of hydration, because when I don't do this, I find that the original formula is just a little too dry for me personally. The 2 shades I'm using is light beige and also light sand, in case you guys were interested. I'm now going to take my e.l.f. Total Face Sponge and I'm just going to buff and blend this out. Now, before I actually go in and set my under eye area, I always want to make sure my concealer is remotely dry, because anytime I go in with powder over top of concealer that's not somewhat dry, it tends to get very crepey and it just grips onto the concealer in a weird way. So I'm going to take the Shade and Light Contour Palette by Kat Von D. I've recently fallen back in love with this palette. I'm taking the banana shade with a little bit of the lightest shade right here with my sponge, and I'm just going to tap this underneath my eyes to set and brighten. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my base makeup. I'm going to use this powder right here by number 7. This is the Lift Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in the shade Light Medium. I'm going to take this and I'm going to set all the other areas of my face that I did not use the Kat Von D powder. Ooh, something weird is happening right here. Okay, there we go. I think my nail may have hit the area that wasn't set. For actual bronzer, I'm just going to go back into the Shade and Light palette. I've really been digging this recently. I know I did not include it in my Best of Beauty Favorites simply because I did start using it again towards the very end of 2020, and I just felt like I didn't use it long enough for it to be featured in that video. So that's that on that. Then with a little bit of my Laura Mercier powder, I'm just going to lightly bake the sides of my nose just to chisel it out a little bit more. If you guys ever wonder how I'm able to get my nose contour to look like this on Instagram, then this little trick is how. I'm going to let that bake there for a minute, and I'm going to go in with the Rare Beauty blush. This is in the shade called Joy. I'm going to take a little bit on the back of my hand, and when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. This stuff goes a very long way. It is very, very pigmented. I'm going to saturate my brush with the product, and then I'm lightly going to tap it right up here because I do like my blush to sit a little high. And as you can see, it gives off the prettiest color without being too much. Is this not the prettiest blush you guys have ever seen? Like, ugh, I'm so obsessed with it. Let me tell you, it doesn't get patchy whatsoever. It's extremely pigmented, and it works really well over top of powders, which is surprising because usually you don't want to put creams over top of powders, but in this case, I do it all the time and it looks fabulous. Okay, let's move on to highlighter. I will be using this one right here by Dior. This is the Dior Skin Nude Air Luminizer in the shade 003. I want to say it's in Golden Glow. I'm going to take it on a brush like this. It is a rather bigger brush. I want to say this one is from Makeup Forever, and I like to start here and then just work my way backwards. I'll do this about twice just because I don't want this to be too crazy. And as you can see, it is more of a wet highlighter, but it's in the form of a powder. It just looks fabulous on the skin. I'm gonna take my brush and I'm lightly going to dust off my nose bake. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of the highlight and put some on the tip of my nose and down the bridge. At this point, I definitely need to finish off my lower lash line, so I'm gonna mix in a little bit of Maple and Cocoa from my Too Faced palette, and I'm just going to smudge this on my lower lash line to really just smoke out this look and bring everything together. Another thing I really like to do, especially now that I have my lashes on, is I'll take a little bit more of that black eyeshadow and I'll really concentrate it and focus it right here on the outer part of my eye just to give it a smokier look. As you can see, this side looks a little bit different than this side over here, and that's because I did layer up that black eyeshadow closest to the base. It's now time to go in with a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna use the So Fierce mascara by Revlon, which definitely is one of my favorites. I'm gonna coat my lashes in with the falsies, and I'm also gonna coat my lower lashes a little bit. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna finish things off with a little bit of lip liner and lip gloss. I'm gonna take this right here by Milani. This is the Understatement lip liner in the shade Saucy Toffee. It's the perfect mid-tone brown. What I love about this formula is that you can line your lips with it and fill them in completely, but today I'm only going to be lining my lips with this. Now the lipstick I will be using is by Maybelline. This is in the shade Baddest Beige. I'm gonna put this directly over top. Then I'm also gonna pop on a little bit of lip gloss. This one is by Madison Beer and Morphe in the shade Mars. And even though I'm not gonna be wearing this for a long period of time, I'm gonna go in with the Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray by Catrice, just to set everything down and in place, and also melt down those powders. Ooh. Please tell me I did not fuck up my makeup. Something happened with my pump there, so it's time to get a new one, I bet. There we go. And that pretty much wraps up my everyday makeup routine for 2021, you guys. I'm so obsessed with it. You guys will definitely catch me wearing this over and over and over again all throughout the year. So I definitely wanted to make a dedicated video as to how I created the look, so that way you guys can refer back to it whenever I do decide to wear this, which is gonna be pretty freaking often. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, y'all already know what to do. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, like this video, and turn on those post notifications, so that way YouTube will notify you when I upload, which is every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, I don't have much else to say except I love you, and I will talk to you guys all in my next video. Deuces.